What exactly is the Reconstruction era? Well, the Reconstruction era is the period of time between 1865 and 1877. It was, of course, referred to as the Reconstruction period, and Abraham Lincoln started planning for the reconstruction of the South during the Civil War, as Union soldiers occupied huge areas of the South. He wanted to bring the nation back together as quickly as possible, and in December 1863, he offered his plan for Reconstruction, which required that the state's new constitutions prohibit slavery. With that, the Civil War ended on April 9th, 1865. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated less than a week later. Andrew Johnson, Lincoln's vice president, briefly continued Lincoln's policies after Lincoln's assassination, and in May 1865 he announced his own plans for Reconstruction, which included a vow of loyalty to the nation and the abolition of slavery that Southern states were required to take before they could be readmitted to the nation. Racial segregation. It was a very racist time during the Reconstruction era. Jim Crow laws were put into place to separate the blacks from the superior white race. The Jim Crow laws meant that black people were legally required to attend separate schools and churches, use public bathrooms marked for colored only, eat in a separate section of a restaurant, and sit in the rear end of a bus. The term Jim Crow originally referred to a black character in an old song and was the name of a popular dance in the 1820s. Around 1828, a minstrel show performer named Thomas Rice developed a routine in which he blacked his face, sang, and danced in imitation of an old black man in ragged clothes. By the early 1830s, Rice's character became tremendously popular and eventually gave its name to a stereotypical negative view of African Americans as uneducated, shiftless, and dishonest. Beginning in the 1880s, the term Jim Crow was used as a reference to practices, laws, or institutions related to the physical separation of black people from white people. Jim Crow laws in various states required the segregation of races in such common areas as restaurants and theaters. The separate but equal standard established by the Supreme Court in Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896 supported racial segregation for public facilities across the nation.